Hey y'all, Andrew here with Free Throws by Foot New Orleans. I'm here with Jeff and James, and we are about to check out Celebration in the Oaks. This is our annual holiday lights display in City Park in Mid-City and runs through late November all the way through New Year's Day. So there's a lot of space where you can check this out if you're coming to visit us during the holidays. It's got some touches that are kind of only in New Orleans things, and then lots of classic holiday stuff as well. It's a really fun time. They got hot chocolate, they got marshmallow toasting, lots to see, lots to do. So we're gonna go check it out. See y'all in there.
Y'all, there are two parts to the event, and we are starting with the driving portion. This is how you'll know you're in the right place. You will see a tunnel full of lights, easy to do. You get your tickets digitally, and they give you a little QR code to put on your dash. It's going to be worth it later on. This driving portion is where you're going to see your classic kind of character lights, these things that tell a story and build a scene, including a lot of stuff that is very, very New Orleans-y. So you have St. Louis Cathedral, you have a jazz band, you have a streetcar full of elves. You also get plenty of stuff that is not very New Orleans-y. Anything that looks good when it lights up is fair play. There's also a tropical portion, which, if you're thinking about this being a winter display, can seem kind of odd, except that it was like 65 degrees when we did this. We had the windows down the entire time. So winter in New Orleans can be a very different beast, sometimes at least, than winters in other places. This driving portion, y'all, is a ticket unto itself. You book it online, it's only available online. And as you're booking, one of the things it'll ask you for is the name of everyone that's going to be in the car with you. It might seem like an odd thing to ask for, but it totally pays off because once you've seen all of these dinosaurs for a little bit, you get to the main attraction. The QR code on your dash knows your names, and they go on Santa's list, and they are crossed off. It means that the presents have been delivered already, and Santa still has time to be here waving. The driving part is also new as of 2022, so if you've been to this event before, you might be recognizing some of the lights that we're seeing from where they used to be along Bayou Metairie, the bayou along the edge of the park. So this is a rearrangement of some old familiar elements into a new shape, and you also can see that old classic area via this little train that you're seeing right now, which we're going to pay a visit to a little later on. But long story short, the driving portion is optional. It's its own separate ticket. There's James, only view of him that we're going to get for the entire video. And if you don't have a car, if you don't have access to a car while you're here, it's fine. There's another option for you, which we'll be getting to in just a second. The whole thing here rounds up with a view of the bridge that crosses the Mississippi River, including its reflection in the water. Very clever. And finally, we end with a dreidel. What, you might ask, is this? This is Mr. Bingle. Mr. Bingle is a holiday department store mascot for a New Orleans store starting in the 1940s. He goes on to have puppet shows and display windows, to be on TV. He's got a whole life story, and he deeply imprinted upon young New Orleanians for a couple of generations. This version of him used to be on a department storefront and then went into a warehouse and kind of moldered for a few decades, only to be put here in this event, fully restored in 2005, right after Hurricane Katrina. He means a lot to some New Orleanians of a certain age. The second part of the event is a walking portion, and that takes place here in the Botanical Garden and next door to it in the Carousel Gardens amusement park. So that ticket includes hot chocolate with marshmallows optional. It also includes full access to both of those things. So you get to see our beautiful Botanical Garden and also have access to all the rides and stuff in the amusement park too. There's also marshmallow toasting. It's included in the ticket. Took me totally by surprise. There's another part of the event that's very nostalgic around like Louisiana childhood. Listen close.
Toward the night before Christmas, and all through the house, there don't seem cat, not even a mouse. He got on his foot.
It's klutzy Cajun Santa. He needs help to get on the roof from an alligator. Alligators also pull his Piro. They have names like Gaston. All this comes from a wonderful children's book called The Cajun Night Before Christmas. Best Christmas souvenir you could get from here, hands down.
Merry Christmas to all, till I saw you some more.
Part of the appeal of this event, y'all, of course, is just the Botanical Garden itself. It's such a beautiful place. They host events all the time. We have a whole video about it, so check that out if you'd like to see the place in bloom in the spring during the daylight. But even being here in December, for a lot of the month at least, it's still very much like year-round during the fall. It's still really vibrant. You have the sculptures and art that are there all throughout the year. And of course, adding in the lights gives it this whole added dimension of oomph. It is a great place to bring people with you, bring a date, bring your friends, bring your family. It is great for people of all ages. This is one of the bonfires that you'd see along the levee on Christmas Eve, Cajun tradition as well as the children's book that we just had, and of course anything with alligators. Speaking of all ages, the New Orleans Historic Train Garden. This is a very large display of model trains going through a sort of whole city, lots of miniature New Orleans buildings, specific ones, classic house types, and the whole thing gets done up for Christmas. Here's Santa. Where'd he go? And the whole thing is taken care of by volunteers, just serious model train nerds who love this stuff. And they have their own little depot that the trains go to when they finish their little route. Just like Santa's workshop. And look at this place, y'all. They have so many spare cars. You'd come here a million times and you'd never see quite the same arrangement twice. They're ready with photo ops. You can come by here and get some pictures. Here are some ideas in case you need inspiration. We've moved on from the Botanical Garden to the other space that this event takes place in, also on the walking portion of the ticket, which is the Carousel Gardens amusement park. Modest-sized amusement park, lots of rides with kind of a vintage feel, but the real centerpiece and the namesake is the carousel. This guy is more than a century old, still operating with its original hardware. It is older than the St. Charles streetcar in its current incarnation. There's also a roller coaster, which is worth knowing about, even though this shot is kind of dark. And you got lights and the Christmas decorations extending through this whole area as well. And a Ferris wheel, all of these rides are open, part of the ticket as you come in, ready for all ages to enjoy. And the highlight is the tiny train. Yes, that person almost stepped in front of it. That is not camera magic. Also not camera magic, the size of this thing. It is legit just 2 people wide, barely even that, and barely tall enough for a full-size human being to fit underneath, but it is such a delightful experience. It's like a 15-minute ride around the portion of the park that most people walk through. Takes you within view of the art museum, the sculpture garden, takes you on a bridge through the sculpture garden. Truly, like, even if you've never done this before, you'll be nostalgic for it by the time it's done. And it also overlaps with part of the driving route. So if you're just doing the walking ticket, you actually get to see a little bit of both sections as long as you do the train ride. Y'all, there are so many other things to do here during the holiday season. We have a whole video on that subject. Check it out for more ideas. And we'd love to know what you thought about this one as well. This is a little different from a lot of videos we've done before. We'd love to know if it's a thing that you'd like to see more of. Tell us all about what you thought down in the comments. And as we pull into the station, from everybody here at Free Tours by Foot, thanks for spending your time with us and happy holidays. See you next time.